Saturday evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Iisha Scott. I just want to bring you an update on the tropics. We're still watching Subtropical Storm Alberto, and you can see it here. It's just near the western tip of Cuba, but notice how lopsided this storm is, and that's part of the reason it's being called subtropical system at this point. So all of the rain is on the east side of the system. On the west side, we've got some very dry air that's moving into it, so a lot of that moisture is having a hard time sort of wrapping around the system. Let me show you the latest. This is as of the 5 o'clock advisory. It's moving to the north at 13 miles per hour. Winds at 40 miles per hour, but gusting to 50. And it's about 95 miles just north of the western tip of Cuba. It is expected to continue on a northerly track and then eventually take a northwesterly turn. But notice as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, it is also expected to strengthen. The water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are in the low to mid 80s and not going to deal with as much dry air once it starts to move closer to or further into the Gulf of Mexico as well. As I zoom in here, you'll notice it should make landfall just east of New Orleans, closer to that Florida panhandle. So we're going to watch the system closely, and that's by Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Notice it is expected to strengthen 60 miles per hour by tomorrow afternoon, up to 65 miles per hour by Monday afternoon. That's when it should make landfall. And then as it stays over land, it loses a lot of its umph, if you will. So tropical systems do not like land. So it becomes post-tropical by that point, and it will bring a lot of rain to Florida, the Gulf Coast, also the southeast as we go into next week. Now, there's been a lot of talk about subtropical storms. What are they? Or are we even talking about a subtropical storm? Well, subtropical and tropical storms, they do differ. And if you remember the first slide that I showed you, Alberto was really sort of disorganized. A lot of the moisture was on the east side of that system. So the strongest winds are usually far from the center, and then the heaviest rain is usually north and east of the center as well. So again, we're not really finding those tropical characteristics just yet with subtropical storm Alberto. So let's talk about the models here. So we've got the GFS, which is the American model, and then the Euro, which is the European model. So we've got those in red and yellow, but I want to show you what they both are thinking, because these are really good models for hurricane forecasting. Notice they're pretty similar as they go over the Gulf of Mexico. Here's the Euro, and then here's the Gulf of Mexico. Now the Euro does want to strengthen this storm a little bit more than the GFS does, so that's something that we're certainly going to watch. It is still forecast to become a tropical storm once it approaches or get very close to land. And then both systems, or both models I should say, will take this system over land. You can see a little bit deviation or a little bit off in terms of the two models, but still taking it over land, over Mississippi, Alabama, and then eventually off to the north and east. So again, we're going to watch it pretty closely as the system continues to develop. Now, regardless if Alberto is a tropical system, subtropical system, it's going to bring and has been bringing a lot of rain to not just Florida, but also the Gulf states, even along the southeast. So if you are traveling this weekend, it is Memorial Day weekend. Expect a lot of rain, also windy conditions. We're talking tropical storm force winds along the Gulf Coast as well. So a lot of rain to come with Alberto. Now let's talk about the names, because we're not even in hurricane season yet, believe it or not. It starts June 1st. We already have Alberto here. Beryl is the next name, and we go all the way through William. So hurricane season starts June 1st and will run through November 30th. The outlook for this year, this is the 2018 hurricane season outlook from Noaa. An average named storms about 12, forecast 10 to 16, about 6.5 hurricanes, 5 to 9 forecast, and then major hurricanes about 1 to 4 is the forecast. So we're going to continue to watch the tropics very closely for you, and we'll certainly keep you updated on Subtropical Storm Alberto.